thy neighbor. Walk up and say how be ya. Gee, but I'm glad to see you, pal. How's tricks? What's new? Love thy neighbor, and you will find your labor a great deal easier. Life will be breezier if you love thy neighbor.
Morning, Eddie.
Morning, Bennett. Where have you been? I've been looking for you all over.
Church.
Church? Why, who's dead?
It's Sunday, Eddie. Some people do go to church on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
You ought to come sometime. Does you good.
So does lying in bed.
You'll never get to heaven.
Yeah.
We've all got to go.
I don't think you go anywhere when you kick the bucket.
Well, you do. You either go up or down.
Damn it, make it sound like Grace Brothers. Going up, halos and harps. Going down, shovels and pitchforks.
It's all in the Bible.
Yeah, well, but anyway, what's up to you lot here is down to us in England and vice versa.
Doesn't make any difference. Paradise is out there somewhere.
Gobblers. Tell me, Bernard, what is there to do at Paradise when you get there?
I don't know. I've never been.
Well, you must have some idea. I mean, don't you give any brochures at church? Go to Surfers Paradise, you get a brochure, don't you? No, you ought to know what you're letting yourself in for.
Well, you don't do anything, really. You just sit around and sing hymns.
Right bloody rave up that is. Is there any crumpet there?
No sex in heaven.
In that case, I'm definitely not going.
You shouldn't say things like that. He can hear you.
Who can?
God. He hears everything.
Cobblers.
He didn't mean it.
Bernard, there is nobody there.
Yes, there is.
No, there isn't. I'll prove it to you. Watch. Hey there, God. If you're there, say something. Hey, why, you see? Nothing.
God doesn't speak to unbelievers.
Very convenient. Bernard, look, Bernard, I'll try once more. Listen, God, if you're there, give us a sign. 1 knock for yes, 2 knocks for no.
My God.
There'll be somebody at the front door.
Well, you better let him in.
Well, you'd think if he was God, he could let himself in.
Don't knock, Eddie. Just open the door.
Shut up. Oh, it's you, love.
Who'd you think it'd be?
Well, Bernard thought it might be God.
Have you been drinking, Bernard?
Only 1 sip at church, but nothing I couldn't handle.
He's been giving us a load of cod to all about heavenly bloody choirs. I don't know.
God gets very angry with unbelievers.
Yes, well, I'll have a word with him about it when I get up there.
Bernard, take before the parson, he's coming around.
Well, I'll just be off, dear.
Later this afternoon.
Oh, in that case, I'll finish my letter.
You riding home, Eddie?
Yes, I am, dear. I'm giving my wife my first impressions of Australia.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. How do you spell cannibals?
Cannibals?
Yes. See, dear, Australia is south of New Guinea, which used to be overrun by cannibals.
Oh, I see. 2 N's, 1 L.
2 N's, 1 L. K-A-N-N.
Well, now that you've been in Australia a few weeks, Eddie, how do you feel about the Aussies?
Sodom. Sodom and Gomorrah. They were unbelievers and God got very angry with them.
Are you sure you only had 1 sip?
I think he needs a strong coffee. Would you like one, Eddie?
No, thanks, dear, no. I think I need something stronger. I'm off to the club.
There you are, my little beauty.
Do not disturb. Soon see about that.
Shut that door! You know, there, Eddie, for a minute you looked almost human.
Knickers. Are you coming out of the club?
In a minute, but you come in here. You ready? 1, 2, 3, inside!
What's all the secrecy about? All I want to know is if you're coming for a drink.
Not only will I come down for a drink, but I will buy you one to celebrate.
Celebrate what? Have the Aussies won a test?
I've grown something very unusual.
Well, don't worry, it doesn't show.
Look at this.
What is it?
It's a toes.
A what?
A toes. T-O-S-E.
Never heard of it.
It's a cross between a tulip and a rose. And that's why I've called it a toes. Of course, I could have called it a rulip, but I prefer toes. Well, what do you think?
I think you're going around the bloody bend.
It's what you call cross-pollination. You see, I took a feather and put it inside a tulip and waggled it about until it was full of pollen. Then I stuck the feather inside a rose and pollinized it.
You dirty devil.
This is going to make me famous, mate. It's the only one of its kind in the world.
I think it's wrong.
What do you mean?
According to the laws of nature, flowers are fertilized by pollen carried by bees.
I do know about the birds and the bees.
Yeah, right. Now, look, you've got a bee. He's buzzing around, right? He sees these bloody toes of yours here. He thinks, yes, that's nice. I'll nip in there for a noggin of nectar. Out he comes, covered with pollen, and he looks round for one of these.
There isn't another one.
Exactly. You've got the poor old bees in the right 2 and 8, isn't he, eh? There he is, his legs full of pollen and nowhere to put it.
If you want to know, I reckon you've gone round the bend.
Look, I tell you what, mate. Bees can get very angry when they're frustrated.
So can I if I get stung. You get it? Stung, bees, hey?
Bloody Nora.
Listen to me, you pommy ratbag. This is an original creation. And it's going to make me untold thousands.
Dollars?
Yes, dollars.
Thousands?
How many rose bushes were sold in Australia alone last year?
20,000?
20,000.
30,000?
30,000.
50,000?
50,000.
All right, clever Dick, how many?
Well, how the hell should I know? But I reckon it was more than 50,000, and with these going at $1.50 each, I'll be rich, famous. I'll make millions. I'll give up my job and stay in here all day.
Tickling your toes with a feather?
I'll put them out by the thousand. But all I need is a partner. Someone who can get out on the road and sell. A man with drive, initiative, guts, ambition.
I'm your man.
And $100.
Done. 80, 85, 90, 95, 100.
You've made a wise move, Eddie.
Yes. Well, now we're partners, I think we ought to think of giving this little creation of ours a name.
He's already got a name. Liliacea, Gesneriana, Rossacea.
Sounds like Argentina's World Cup forward line.
It's Latin for tulip and rose.
Well, that's no good. You can't stand up in the marketplace saying Liliacea, Gesneriana, Rosacea, 2 for $3. Bloody high-tie lingo. You want an English name?
All right. We'll call it Pride of Australia.
I said English, not Australian. You want something that has a noble ring to it, that has immediate impact.
What are you talking about?
Oh, dear me, you are thick, you know. Now, look there. What picture comes to mind when you think of England?
20,000 dockers out on strike in a fog.
Yes, very funny. I'm talking about the rose being our national emblem. It's part of our royal heritage. The red rose of Lancashire, the white rose of Yorkshire.
The yellow rose of Texas.
The Yanks nicked that from us as well. Now, look, mate, don't you realise that half the pubs in England are called the Rose and the Crown? No. You definitely want a real English name.
Oh, what's it matter what we call it? Hey, look, I'll tell you what. For another $20, you can call it what you like. Hey, what about one of your kings? Charles, Albert, Richard, William, Edward.
Edward. That's it. Edward Booth of England.
By this time next year, there'll be hundreds of Edward Booths all over Australia.
What a wonderful thought.
Was Jim going down the club with Eddie?
No, I don't think so.
Slip next door and see if he wants a cup of tea, eh?
Okay.
There you are, me little lovely. Turn the heat up a bit.
Is this it?
Yeah, that's it. It's a special sort of fertilizer.
Do not disturb.
Shut the door!
Oh, where do you smell beautiful?
When are you going to put little Eddie to bed?
As soon as possible. Who was that?
It's Bernard.
Well,
Pardon?
is Jim coming for tea?
I don't know.
Didn't you speak to him?
No.
Wasn't he there?
Oh, yes, he was there.
And you didn't speak to him?
No.
Why not?
I couldn't.
Bernard, one of us is not making sense.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've just had a terrible shock. You better sit down.
I am sitting down.
Oh, yes. What I'm about to tell you, you will not believe.
Try telling me first.
I heard it and I don't believe it.
Heard what?
Jim and Eddie.
What about Jim and Eddie?
You won't believe it.
I might if you tell me.
I mean, it doesn't seem possible.
What doesn't?
Jim and Eddie.
Bernard, are you going to tell me or do I have to beat it out of you?
Well, it's about Jim and Eddie.
I gathered that. Go on.
When I went round, they were in the greenhouse.
Yes?
Well, I heard them talking and...
Go on.
You won't believe it.
Bernard, if you say I won't believe it one more time, I'll wrap this teapot round your head.
Well, that is... They like each other.
I realise that might be a bit of a breakthrough, but I don't think it's anything to get excited about.
You don't understand. They don't like each other.
Oh, make up your mind, Bernard.
What I mean is, they're very fond of each other.
What are you trying to say?
They fancy each other.
Fancy each other?
Yes,
You mean...
exactly.
Oh, that's absolutely ridiculous. I don't believe it.
I said you wouldn't.
You'd be mistaken.
I know what I heard. Jim said he couldn't wait to get Eddie into bed.
Where's Bernard?
He's in bed.
He's not feeling a little queer, is he? Well, what did you come round the greenhouse for? A good night kiss?
Eddie, may I be frank?
I think Joyce suits you better.
Sit down, Eddie. When Bernard went round to the greenhouse, he heard you and Jim talking.
Yes?
And he heard Jim say, and I quote, "I can't wait to get Eddie into bed."
Oh, dear me. Jim didn't want anybody to know about it just yet.
It's true?
Yes, dear. Isn't it marvellous? We're going round to the club to celebrate. You fancy coming? Please yourself. I better get round there. I don't want to keep Jim waiting. Not after all he's done for me.
I told you, didn't I?
This is terrible. I mean, we've got to do something to help Eddie. We can't have him fancying Jim.
What are we going to do?
Bernard, you're going to have to make a sacrifice.
I don't want him fancying me.
You, me.
Eh?
Leave it to me. I'll sort him out. switch Eddie on?
I think it'll blow his fuse.
You stupid licensing laws. Have you travelled 48 kilometres indeed? Oh.
I like the look in his face when you said you came from Manchester.
I liked it even more when I said today.
How's our little Eddie?
Would little Eddie like a drop of twoies?
Oh, no, mate, no.
Well, I think big Eddie will have one. How about you, son?
Yeah, I'll have one. Thanks.
For that. Oh, got it. Cheers.
Cheers.
You know, you're not a bad lad for an Aussie.
You're not such a bad bloke yourself for a pommy.
Call us what you like, mate. But I'll tell you this. There are few things in life more attractive than a pure Englishman.
There is no such thing as a pure Englishman.
Gosh, that bloody is.
No, Eddie, I've read my history, and the original English were Celtic.
Celtic's a football team.
Celtic then.
Celtic.
The true Britons were Celts. Then you were invaded by the Angles from Germany, then the Romans from Italy, and the Normans from France. So that means your sauerkraut with a dash of cannelloni in it.
You make us sound like a bloody hors d'oeuvre.
It's true.
Oh, knickers.
Same to you.
Here you are, cop for another tenny.
Oh, mate, I'll take it with me. I want to put these in the fridge.
Yeah, well, I'll stay here and drink my own.
Hey, before you write yourself off, give Eddie a drink of water, will you?
Good idea, Jim boy. Business before pleasure.
Go.
Ah, then. Oh. No water. Never mind, there's a bit there, that'll do.
Oh, Eddie, if you've got a minute, Joyce would like to see you.
All right, mate. Do you fancy a quick one?
Thanks. I've got to go. Back. To bed.
Funny way to spend Sunday.
Coming.
In here, darling.
Not darling, it's me, Eddie. Darling's in bed. Bloody Lord.
What's the matter, Eddie Weddy?
Nothing.
Come and sit down. Not there, over here, next to me. Closer, Eddie. Closer. Closer.
If I come much closer, I'll be behind you.
Silly duffer.
A bit warm in here, isn't it?
Eddie, look at me.
Yes, I'm looking.
Don't you think that women have their attractive points?
Definitely.
Why don't you give up this silly affair?
Pardon?
You and Jim.
Me and Jim?
This secret thing between you and Jim.
Oh, you mean about little Eddie?
Little Eddie?
Yes. Me and Jim want to have lots of little Eddies next year. Well, it'll be quite an achievement.
If you ask me, it'll be more like a miracle.
And we want you and Bernard to have the first one.
What?
We'll sell all the others. Well, there's a lot of money in plants, you know.
Yes, I know. Plants?
Yes.
Did you say little Eddie's a plant?
Yes, dear. Why? What do you think he was?
Nothing. Never mind.
Oh, yeah, forgive me.
Eddie, would you like to go to the greenhouse and show me your little Eddie?
Is it always like this on Sunday round here?
Somebody's turned the heating on full. What stupid idiot's done that?
It was this stupid idiot. Stand back.
You can't go in there, Eddie.
I must. I must save little Eddie.
You've done it!
I've had it.
Nora.
Little Eddie, come on.
It's too late, Eddie. He's gone.
I wonder if I could give it the kiss of life.
I wouldn't make things any worse than they are.
Come on. What am I going to tell him?
Well, I think it'll be painful, but the truth is best.
Yes, but he'll be heartbroken.
He will, but I think he'll find that he's the sort of man to make a new start.
Yes, you're quite right. And all said and done, it happens all the time. Oh, it's you, Bernard.
Yes. G'day, Eddie.
Well, I think I'll pop up to Melbourne for a few days. Yes, I'm sorry, of course.
Eddie's got something to say.
Joyce.
Not now, Bernard. This isn't going to be easy for Eddie, so just sit down and listen.
Jim, sit down. Yes. Now, Jim.
Don't you think it'd be a good...
Bernard, let Eddie tell Jim first.
Oh, yes, of course.
Joyce is right, Bernard. This is not easy for me.
I'm sorry, Eddie.
That's all right, son. It's all part of life's rich tapestry. You see, son, what I'm trying to say is this. There comes a time in a man's life when he comes face to face with the truth. And the ability of one man, say for example me, to tell the truth, and the ability of another man, say for example Jim, to accept the truth, has always been part of the character of any man with a single drop of British blood in his veins. The truth is part of British tradition, British history, British culture. Because the truth is British.
Eddie, my ancestors were Dutch.
Yeah, but you don't understand what I'm trying to say.
I do understand. Not only that, but I know what you're trying to say.
You do?
I was outside listening.
You were?
Eddie, I have walked down that road, mate, and I know every stone in the path.
Well, all I can say, Jim, is that you behaved with a dignity and a restraint that I wouldn't have thought possible in a man whose ancestors were Dutch. But don't worry, mate. We'll start again tomorrow.
You pommy bastard!
Walk up and say how be ya. Gee, but I'm glad to see you, pal. How's tricks? What's new? Love thy neighbor, and you will find your labor a great deal easier. Life will be breezier